Hey guys, I'll wait for a few more people to tune in. G'day Tyler. Welcome mates, welcome everyone. Wait for a few more Saners to tune in. Yep, Mia Owens. What a debut. Oh, not a debut, a second career game for him. That was the story really out of today. But we'll get a few more Saners jumping on board, and then we'll get into the live. And as always, make sure you comment your thoughts, and I will go through them when I can at the end of the live. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to say pretty routine, pretty comfortable, bruise-free type footy, although there were some big hits. G'day Taylor, welcome mates, welcome Daniel, up the Saners, great win, absolutely. But it was kind of just like what we needed to do. And someone just mentioned percentage booster. Yep, that's kind of what we were going for, and we didn't want to take North Melbourne lightly because they had such a terrible week on the track in terms of the media, in terms of rumours going around about players not, being connected to the club, and the coach and Horn Francis wanting to go and leaving the club at the end of the year. So, and also, their captain Zeeble, he's 250th today. So all of that kind of could have turned this game into a very risky affair, and a game that we could have really found ourselves grinding out like until late in the fourth quarter. But credit where credit's due, we came out. North Melbourne were pretty solid in the first term, but I thought after we kicked the first goal, pretty comfortable from that point on. I don't think they really ever threatened us, which was amazing. A couple of loud Saners going around the car park. But I think that was the mature side of this performance, wasn't it? The margin itself, 53 points. It would have been great to hit the ton, and it just even above 60, 70 would have been great and probably deserved, to be honest. We kicked really inaccurately in the first couple of quarters, but 16-7 overall is a really solid score. Kicking over the 100, I thought, was really important, and right now we sit in fourth position, and we'll stay there if Collingwood can get the job done against the Blues, which at the moment it looks like they're doing. So all things are going nicely for us, and no injuries, apart from maybe a Rowan Marshall shoulder, but he finished the game well, kicked a great goal at the end. So everyone did what they needed to do. Standouts, obviously Jack Sinclair was immense again. He just does it every single week, very clean by foot. Seb Ross got going as the game went on. He got better. The first two quarters, probably not. But third and fourth quarters, it seems to be just every week that's when he lifts, and that's when we lift, and that's when we did the most of our damage, was that third quarter burst again. That, it looked like we kind of took the foot off the pedal a little bit in that fourth term after North Melbourne came out and kicked the first two goals, and I thought, great, it's going to be exactly like last year. We go up by a lot, let them come back into it, and we finish the game 20, 30-point winners. But it was really great to see that we bounced back after those two goals from North, and we finished the game really strong and blew that margin back out over 50 points. So Seb Ross, Jack Sinclair, Brad Hill again, very good by foot, and I loved just the way he was taking the game on. Even if he got caught, he was taking it on, trying to do something. And speaking of taking the game on, and we'll talk about three of them, but Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera I think he only finished with about 16 or 17, possibly. But, God, I mean, his possessions, that pass. If they had an award for pass of the year, like disposal of the year, that pass to Max King, you can't beat that. That was one of that fizzled to Max King. Such beautifully weighted ball. He knows when to go for those soft kicks, and he knows when to just absolutely zip it to someone. And that was just a beautiful pass, and Max King topped it off, I believe, after that. So absolute bullet of a pass, as Beck just mentions there. Windhager did some really nice things, really good in tight. He loves to ride the tackles. He spins out of them really well. So that's where he does his best work. And obviously we can't go this review without talking about him. But Machida Owens, what a second game from him. We brought him in, we dropped Jack Billings. Everyone was kind of like, wow, that's that's a pretty big statement from Rats, and you want Owens to really own this game, and he did. You know, he had 14 disposals, 10 tackles. That's more impressive than the 2 goals alone. 14 disposals, but 10 tackles on top of that. That's a game high, I believe, and St Kilda high today. Equal with, I think, Zach Jones or someone like that. Someone that doesn't usually lay a lot of tackles. But Machida Owens to have 10 tackles, 14 disposals, and kick those 2 goals in the space of 30 seconds. Both, you know, not your usual mark and set shot. It was very opportunistic type goals, and that shows the level of creativity and kind of the the football smarts that this kid has, you know, for him to snap it like he did, but then to kick it off the deck. He's going to be a very classy player, and he's got some serious size to him, to the point where we could afford playing him out of the square. So we had him at full forward for a lot of the game, threw him into the guts. He was in the bounce at the first opening bounce of the game. He was in that. I love that Rats is willing to give Owens, I don't even know who that is, Owens, Nasaya, and Windhager games, and rewarding, you know, players at Sandy. And obviously Burns was the sub as well. Wasn't used, but I thought, you know, the fact that we're giving that many youngsters games is a really good sign for the future, because you look at a lot of the other top teams and, you know, they're not really debuting a lot of players. And for us to debut, I think 3 or 4 already this year in the space of 11 weeks, and for a lot of them to really potentially be locks in the starting 22, 26 is amazing. So our senior boys are carrying the team really well now without Steele. Jones, obviously Gresh had a huge game as well. Crouchy was solid again. Seb was great. I thought our rucks were really good. I thought Rowe battled really well with Goldstein. And Paddy Ryder did some nice things around the ground. And then down back, Dougal Howard owned Larkey. Larkey did nothing, had 1 shot on goal and shanked it. And Wilkie was just great from the first bounce. He's marking. I think he's an underrated player overall. But some of those, the way he's able to just kind of hold his man and then take that intercept mark, going backwards is absolutely elite. And he does that every single week. And it doesn't matter how big the forward is. When Wilkie's in that position, you know he's going to ease the forward under the ball and take an easy, uncontested mark in the end. So our back line was solid. I thought that was a pretty solid game from Webster. Paddo was pretty good, but his kicking inside 50 was a bit suspect. Battle was great. A couple of massive hits from Josh Battle. I love that about him. He brings that physicality to our team, and that's the same with Ben Long, and we needed that. No Higgins, no Butler. You know, I think we kind of lacked a bit of small forward pressure in the forward line. It came out a little bit easy, but for the majority of the time, our tools in Rowe, Kingy, Ryder, Sharman, Wood was solid on the wing. They all kind of battled in the air, and they're all mobile enough at ground level, you know. And Kingy, that left foot goal, that's all class from him. And I wanted him to kick 10 today, but in the end, he kicked the 3 goals, 1. Probably could have kicked 4 or 5, but we had a few other goal kickers bob up and do the job as well. So as a summary, honestly, it wasn't the best performance from us. Like, it's a game that I don't think I'd be that interested in watching the replay, apart from watching kind of the first term, third term, and maybe the end of the fourth. Second term was kind of a dead rubber. Only 1 goal, 4 or 5 we kicked. So the second term, to kick 1 goal in that term, but still to kick 16 for the game, kick over 100 points, is a really good sign. And we've kicked straight in the last 2 weeks. We kicked 14-6 last week. This week, 16-7. So that's 2 very good set shot kicking weeks from our boys, and a few of those snaps were excellent as well. So a really comfortable, mature, professional, I would say, performance from the boys. And I was just telling Jess on the way back to the car, it's just nice to come to the footy and not play our absolute best, but to just do enough to kick over 100 points, to win by 50 against a team that's been up against it all week and really needed to show something. And North did a few nice things in this game, but we still were just calm, collected, knew what we needed to do. We understood our strengths, and we knew that if we exploited them enough, we would get the win, and we did that. You know, there was a lot, and Rats will say it 100% in his press conference, there's a lot that we need to improve on, and the space between now and when we play Brisbane in 2 weeks at the Gabba, because that performance probably doesn't stack up very well against those top 4 teams. But for us to get it done. And sometimes you just need to get it done. You know, we're not going to play our best every week. And right now, I don't think we've played amazing football as a whole for 4 quarters since the Hawthorn game still. So that leaves a lot to, I guess, to be improved on. And that's only an exciting thing because you want to be hitting your best football in rounds 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, leading up into finals, not in round 10, 11 before the bye. So really happy with that performance. Kept them to 50 points. Again, a very strong defensive effort. And we kicked over 100 points. So any team that kicks over 100 points this year is a dead-on certainty to get the win, apart from Richmond on Friday night. So we did what we needed to do. Very professional, solid win. So that's my thoughts, Saners. Let's get into some of your thoughts. If you've got any points I haven't mentioned or I've missed, please comment them now and we'll go through them. I'm just going to scroll, as always, all the way to the top. And really appreciate all the Saners tuning in now and all the Saners that are sending stars, contributing to the channel financially that way. It means a lot. So thank you to everyone that's donating those stars during the lives. It's amazing to see. Let's go. A lot of Mitch Owens comments, or Owens the Saints, a lot of puns, Owens puns. So thank you for giving me a title for this week's podcast, Saners. Very, very important there. This one's from Paul, you little beauty. Well done, Saners, on a great win today. Puts us 4th on the ladder. Actually, fun. I don't know the scores for the Carlton game, so can someone please comment the scores? I'm very interested to see if Collingwood's still holding their own. Daniel says, up the Saners, great win. Love Mitch Owens, 2 goals, very good effort there. Tyler says, how good is that? Good percentage booster. Yep, I think in the end our percentage went up about 5 or 6%. I think we're at about 123, 124. We would have been 3rd right now if it wasn't for Fremantle playing amazing football yesterday against the Demons, but that's football. And right now, after 11 weeks, we are only 2 wins off top of the ladder, 2 wins away from the invincible team in the Melbourne Demons. So if you had told me that pre-season, Jake, at round 11 you'd be 2 wins off top, we would have all been saying that is amazing. We're very happy with that. So we're not going to take this for granted, obviously, because we're Saints fans, but there's nothing to be disappointed about. We did that without Higgins. We did that without Butler. We did that without Steele. We dropped Billings. There's a lot of players that, Hunter Clark to come back in. There's a lot of strength outside of the team that's playing for Sandy today, that's knocking on the door to get back into the team. And that's on top of Bytel, Burns, Highmore, Lynett. I can't even remember how do you pronounce his name. There's so many players that are capable of coming in and doing a job for this team. It just makes battle for spots so difficult and keeps everyone on their toes, and that's what you want in a good team. This one's from Vince, Owens, Windy, and Nasiah. We smashed the draft. Yeah, our recruiters need to get a massive pat on the back because, on top of the draft, we've done well in the mid-season draft. We got Sharman last year, Highmore, rookie drafts, Sinclair, Marshall in years gone by. These aren't top draft picks. We're nailing the little gaps in the markets, and I'm very keen to see what we do in the mid-season draft next Wednesday as well. So we've got 2 draft picks there, thanks to Caulfield and someone else I can't remember that we've put on the long-term injury list. So obviously Jack Hayes. So 2 picks there that we can use. Tyler says, I would say Jack Sinclair was best on today. Mia says, almost too comfortable in that 4th term. Possibly. I thought we started that quarter really comfortable and we gave up 2 goals, but it was good to see that we rebounded and we kicked the next 3 or 4. So I would agree with you, but I was glad that we've responded and ended the game with a bit more momentum. Blake says, great win still, can work on our efficiency in front of goal. We kicked 16-7, mate. I don't know if we can improve too much. Thomas is knocking on heaven's door, top 4 Saners. Ben says, how good was the reception for Machida after his 2 goals and running to the bench? Much love for the youngster. All 3 draftees were great today. Yeah, that was the headline for me. Right now, Mitch Owens he's got to be getting the Rising Star nomination. 14 touches, 10 tackles, and 2 goals. You can't do much more than that in a performance. So I think it's a great effort from him, and really, really great to see the youth coming through our side on top of the maturity from the senior boys around that 25, 26 age bracket. Eugene says, hi Jake, great win, but should have won by more. Windhager is a beauty. We should have won by more, but we'll take 50. Mick reckons, come on Pies, that's sickening to say. I know, it's hard to barrack for Collingwood or any team that's not the Saints, but today it's a massive game and we want Collingwood to get the job done. To finish fifth after be 8-3 at halfway, I feel like it's kind of underselling our form. We deserve to be, I reckon, in the top 4 based on our first 3 months of football. I think we've been excellent and we haven't really done much wrong. Not September yet, though. Absolutely not. From Cody, no, it's too early, mate. We don't want to be peaking now, like I said. McMahon says, well done, guys. We're getting closer to the finals. Yep, I think 4 more wins and you probably lock in top 8 and then any extra on top of that and you're knocking on the door of the top 4. Andrew says, Hill, Gresh, Sinclair. Glad the King is on our side. Yeah, Kingy, he was in cruise control today. It was just great to see that our forward line, it didn't rely on him too much today. I wanted him to kick 10 just for the crowd's sake and to just have a bit of fun at the footy. But it was great to see that even when he was on the lead and had a good position, we found other players that were in good positions as well. And we weren't overly reliant on him. And if you're going to be in a big final, you're not going to be King reliant. It's going to be everyone else chipping in that really separates us from the rest of the teams. You don't want to just be King or bust, so to speak. Mia says the tackling and pressure was immense. That was one really good thing. Like I said, we took this game pretty comfortably, or at least it seemed like it at times. But our pressure never wavered. Our tackles always stuck. We always drove them into the ground. And we played very physical football. And that was, something that if you don't have that and you get a 50-point win, you're like, that's too cruisy. But if you're doing that, you're like, yeah, we were switched on. And North played okay in patches. So you take it. Nasiah for Rising Star. Surely been Nasiah or Owens. It could really be either one. James Brown, Mitch Owens, instant impact in the third. St Kilda top 4, Carlton are losing. That's from Mike. Thanks for the update, Mike. Martin's asking, who drops out for Jack Higgins? Can only think Long, Owens or Cooper. Cooper Sharman kicked a goal again, but the last 3 weeks he's kicked a goal in every game, but he's only had 8 touches and kind of minimal impact around the ground. So I would say that he's probably one. I don't know Ben Long's stats, but I thought he laid a few tackles and he's really good at just, when a defender looks like he's going to be taking the mark, Long is always there just to get that hand in and bring the ball to ground. And a lot more times than not, we actually end up kicking goals from that. Heat's asking, Sinclair for All-Australian. Absolutely, he would be the All-Australian halfback flanker right now. Anyone that thinks otherwise is silly. Catherine's asking, how good are the young boys? Yep. As mentioned a few times already, the young boys are the main highlight for me today. The performance itself was solid without being amazing, but to see those 3 take the game on and do a lot of different special things like Nasiah's run along the wing, taking like 5-6 bounces, Owens kicking goals, and Windy's just tackling pressure and ferocity around the ball and his clean hands in tight. They all have different weapons that they bring to the team. They're not all different. And I said that in pre-season when we drafted them. One's a goal kicker that can play mid, another one's a hard nut, and the other one's an outside superstar that has elite foot skills. And they're all proving it already in their first 4 or 5 games in their career. Love your work, mate. It's from Natalie. Thanks a lot, Natalie, and as well for sending 100 stars. That's amazing. Thank you. Seb Ross, you bloody true blood, from Thomas. Seb Ross, his form just continues. He's just a superstar. Some of those kicks are just lasers. Like, you wonder if he's had a leg transplant and he's got someone else's leg, because he's got speed again this year. His kicking's been elite and he's getting a lot more of the ball. So the fact that we've lost Steele, but we can trust someone like Seb to really fill that void is amazing. And it's really good leadership from Seb and from everyone else that's in the midfield. Beck says, surely Rowe and Paddy have to be the number 1 ruck combo now. Yeah, look, they're all hitting the scoreboard, probably more than Gawn and Jackson. So I'd have to say they're pushing their claim. Gawn and Jackson are very good, but I think that it's still mainly Gawn being the dominant one and Jackson being pretty serviceable. But Paddy and Rowe are equally damaging in the ruck as they are forward. So, yeah, you could make the argument that they're basically equal number 1 with Gawn and Jackson. Eddie says, I'm calling Wanganeen Malira's. He's a sniper. His kicks are pinpoint. Thanks for that, Eddie. Wonder who that is. Razor says, Wilkie doesn't need to pay for any homes. He's living rent-free inside forwards' heads. That's a great comment. He's doing that every week, the accountant. Just gets the job done. Phil says, thanks, Jakey. Enjoy the buy. Yep, thanks. Thanks, Phil. Enjoy your buy as well. And thanks for the comment. Matt says, Wilkie doesn't just own his opponent. He owns the 5 metres around him. Yeah, Cal Wilkie's just... he's probably leading the best and fairest with sinks at the moment. He's just been in amazing form. And good to see he's getting recognition in the media as well. Damien says, Winhager will only get stronger and better. Future gun for me. Danny says, gotta love Wilkie, and I can't believe how well Wood is fitting in. Exactly. Good credit for Wood. He's working very hard on that wing. Probably one too many tools in our forward line today, but we did it without Higgins and Butler. Looking magnificent, Saints. AJ says 8-3, and now the fun starts after the bye. Should give us a fair indication of where we're at. Now this is the season resets. That's what Rats needs to do. We're 8-3, but it's now 0-0. We need to win more games than we lose in the second half, and we're playing a lot of games around, the top 4, top 6 teams around us. So, especially in a fortnight's time, we go to the Gabba and play Brisbane. That's our biggest game of the year. So we need to be fit and firing, and to get Hunter Clark, Higgins, these sort of guys back in a fortnight's time is going to be very important for us. Carlton up by a goal. Come on, Collingwood. Come on. Bet you're cheering for Collingwood. Yep, absolutely I am, Paul. A lot of people are jumping on the Collingwood bandwagon now. King is second in the Coleman. Yep, what did he kick? He kicked 3, so he's on 32. Charlie Kerno, I think he's on 34 or 35 now. So it would have been good for Kingy to kick a bag, but he's only 21. He's already kicked 32 goals. I think he only kicked 38 for the season last year. So Kingy's already well on his way to beating his career total from last year in the first 12, 13 rounds of this year. So huge improvement from Kingy and from the rest of the boys around him. That is the worst car park, Jakey. You know where I am, do you, Pat? It's not a bad car park. This is my go-to every week, mate. I love it. Danny says, 10 out of 11 games this year, we have been in front at some stage in the last quarter. That's top 4 material. That's a great stat from Dan. Thanks for that. It doesn't feel like it because we're kind of we always come from behind when we're down by 20 and win. But it's good to know that deep into the last quarter, we always seem to be in a position to win games in every game we've played apart from the Melbourne game. So that's a really good sign for us. I might go through a couple more and then we'll wrap it up. Brian says, it's good to see Melbourne get beaten. Just shows with a couple of players injured, they are vulnerable. Yep. Stephen May goes off and they fall to pieces. So it shows that, they've had a good run with injuries the last couple of years. But if you lose a key pillar in the forward line, midfield or down back, it's going to be hard to cover, especially someone like May that really does drive and intercept a lot of the inside 50s that go their way. Heath says, should do a mid-season review with fan cams. Jake, just an idea. Thoughts? I'll definitely be doing some mid-season review videos. I think Marshy's doing fan cams now in R29 or the Platform 28 now. So that'll be up hopefully tomorrow or later today. Player ratings later today. And I might do a fan cams maybe next weekend if the fans want to jump on. And we can talk about the season so far, but nothing locked in yet. But very good idea there from Heath. Thanks for that. There we go. That's kind of all the comments at the moment. So I might leave it there, saying it's a nice early one today. Good to get a solid win. It's only 4:30, so plenty of Sunday still to enjoy. Go out, enjoy the weather. Hopefully barrack hard for Collingwood and they can get the chocolates for us. And even if they don't, we're still 8-3, percentage from third, I think. And if we just keep winning, it doesn't really matter how other results go because we just need to focus on our game plan. And if we can keep winning, get to the 12-13 win mark, even more than that for the year, we're pushing top 4, top 5. And importantly, we're just making finals because that's all we wanted at the start of the year. So we don't want to get greedy, but it was good to see on, I think it was on the couch on Monday night, Paddy Ryder was on. And it was the first time this year I've really heard a player talk about where they're aiming, the club's aiming to finish. And Paddy Ryder said, yeah, we're aiming for top 4, which is great because a lot of teams wouldn't put that out there. They would just say, yeah, we're aiming for finals. We want to make finals, and that's what we want. But he said, no, we're aiming for top 4. So it was good to see that there's that mentality from Paddy and for everyone else at the footy club that we're not just comfortable with top 8, top 6. We want the double chance. We want top 4. And if we're going to do that, we need to beat teams like Brisbane in a fortnight's time. So I'll leave it there, Saners. Thanks very much for watching. This will be up on YouTube in the next 30, 40 minutes. So if you've missed a lot of it, you can tune in on YouTube. Player ratings will be out later tonight, as well as fan cams, hopefully. And then obviously Saints TV Weekly and the podcast tomorrow and Tuesday. And then we've got the bye, no footy next weekend, but there'll still be a lot of Saints TV content coming out on the channel. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the win. It was solid without being amazing, but we got the job done. 53-point winners. And now we're in 4th position temporarily until Collingwood or Carlton decide where we finish at the end of the round after round 11 of the 2022 season. So take care, Saners. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And as always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.